we begin the discussion on an issue making headlines. Now, South Korean sports have been at the center of global attention as its baseball and football leagues were among the world's first professional sports leagues to return last week amid the COVID-19 pandemic. US sports giant ESPN acquired exclusive broadcast rights to South Korea's National Baseball League, while some 36 countries sought out media rights deals with Korea's Football League ahead of the opening weekend. It provided some comfort and a sense of returning to normalcy for sports fans everywhere. Now, to discuss what Korean sports has to offer and what fans will have to get used to in this new normal of empty stadiums. Joining me today, we have KURTZ, a US-based KBO expert who founded mykbo.net, and Kim Tae-ryung, director of Fit Together, a database football management company. Now, let's start with you. Dan. It's been a week since both sports leagues, including baseball, kicked off and enjoyed this rare global audience. How has it been received so far overseas, and what did you make of this response?
Well, I can tell you, my reaction when I heard that the ESPN deal became official was one of shock, pride, and excitement. I mean, I'm literally still pinching myself right now because knowing the largest sports outlet here in the United States, where I am, is showing KBO baseball games and highlights, and there is talk and chatter on their morning shows throughout the day about the games that just went on previously that morning. So I am very excited about this. I know the news that I've received through social media has been very positive, and it looks very good for the KBO over here in the United States.
Right, so a dream come true for KBO fans. Well, what about you, Tae-ryung? What did you make of this global response, and what do you think makes Korean football so appealing to the global audience at the moment?
So, K-League was broadcast to 36 countries of the world, including Germany, Britain, India, and Australia. The league game was also shown on YouTube and on the league's Twitter page. The opening match, Jeonbuk vs. Suwon, was shown by 3.4 million around the world. To be honest, as a contributor of K-League, I was shocked because world-famous media like BBC put K-League on their headline. It's interesting that pundits around especially Europe, were investing in K-League. I have worked as a football commentator for last 8 years, while commentating on main games in Premier League and UEFA Champions League. The hardest thing was time difference. Now I feel strange and a bit fun because prestigious foreign football pundits get over the time difference to commentate on K-League. It's a joke, but I would say it's time for you to get a taste of time difference. It's your turn.
So really exciting times for Korean sports and people all over the world staying up to watch the games. Well, Dan, how do you think the games have been handled so far in terms of health and safety, which was a very big concern? And do you think that the Korean model could perhaps be replicated in other countries?
I think it can be. I know Major League Baseball is looking at the KBO to see what the KBO has done right. They're looking at the Korean society, what the CDC in Korea has put out. They're trying to follow the rules. The KBO is having the players' temperatures checked twice before the games. They're having them fill out a questionnaire, and they're encouraging the players to wear masks on all places except for the field. And then for the people that are on the field, such as the umpires and coaches, they have to wear masks. And the league has come out and said, we're discouraging high fives. And in a game of such as baseball, where there's some high moments and you want to celebrate, they're just trying to discourage that. And then perhaps the hardest thing for a baseball player to do is to stop spitting. And the league has come down and said, we're going to try to ban that as well. And again, it's kind of been funny to watch the players have to adjust to this new normal. But I think Major League players in the office itself here in the United States are watching the KBO to see how they go about doing this.
Well, Tae-ryung, how do you think that the K-League has been handling this COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, K-League has made regulations for prevention of pandemic. All the staff and players have to check the temperature before the game and be under the control of moving way. They have to wear a mask in the stadium and bench, and they don't even shake their hands before game. Also, players must use their personal bottle, and also players celebrate goals for self-devoting medical staff. Due to the empty stadium, some clubs play the recorded voice of their fans supporting, which is literally supporting players.
See, well, Tae-ryung, players, as you said, they have to stop themselves from doing certain things or even talking to each other. And did you really sense any kind of awkwardness among the players as they had to adjust to these new rules?
But anyway, in football, during playing football, it's hard to, if you don't talk, we can do nothing during playing football. So they can discuss each other, but they have to be careful. It's easy.
Right. Well, Dan, also in baseball, as you said, they have to stop high-fiving each other, spitting, and again, the strange silence is one major thing that both the players and the fans will have to get used to. Do you think that these empty stadiums, this deafening silence, really will affect the performance of the players?
Well, I know as a fan at home watching on TV, it's been a stark contrast compared to the past seasons where the stands are packed and there's the singing and the stadium's loud. So these days, literally, you can hear every sound of the ball and bat, as well as the chatter from the field of not only the players, but the umpires, the coaches. So that's all brand new. And while I spoke to a couple players earlier this week and they said, while they're focused on their jobs that is on the field, they say it's strange to not hear a cheer or noise after making a play on the field because it's all new to them as well. One even said that while they are professional athletes, they're also entertainers, and to have nobody to entertain to in the stands, it's been kind of tough for them.
See, it does seem quite dispiriting, really, but I suppose it's something we're going to have to get used to in this new normal. Well, Tae-ryung, the Bundesliga, Germany's professional soccer league, is set to restart this week, and there's also the possibility of the English Premier League returning next month. And many say that the attention on the K-League will eventually fizzle out for international football fans. What do you think about that, and what do you think they can do to retain this global interest?
I guess it's a natural law. It's very obvious that Bundesliga will draw attentions when they began. But I believe the K-League must be an excellent and worthy standard because K-League is the first league which began very successfully and safely in the middle of pandemic. The more league begin, then the less attention K-League will receive. But it's not important. K-League has already shown a worthy model beyond football.
And Dan, in addition to K-pop and K-culture that's been quite popular around the world, how do you think South Korean sports can keep the momentum going and become a part of the new Korean wave?
Well, I hope that both the K-League and the KBO can build on this publicity and continue to market and reach out to the new and even old fans alike from around the world. I hope that the KBO sees this opportunity with their TV deal with ESPN as part of their long-term goal to continue marketing themselves to their fans globally. Well, I know that when other major sports leagues return, the KBO is going to have to compete for fans. But even if only a fraction of those new fans stay around, that's a fraction of fans that the KBO never would have reached without this newfound global attention.
And really, Dan, which players do you think are getting some attention from around the world?
Well, right now, the NC Dinos have been featured a lot on the ESPN games. So Na Sang-bum, who has had, a great start to the season, recovering from an injury, and he signed with a major player agent, Scott Boras. And so that just indicates that he is looking to come to the major leagues eventually. And so I think all the attention from the United States is being focused on players such as him or Kim Ha-sung from the Kiwoom Heroes. So there are a couple players that this new TV deal is really helping them out.
That's great to hear. Hopefully this can be a good opportunity for them as well. And Tae-ryung, what about you? How do you think that Korean football can keep this momentum going and continue to receive some international spotlight?
Yeah, anyway, Korea is powerful in content industry. Every club, federation, and association has mainly made land cable contents, meaning online contents. The contents fill up the vacancy of the United Sports League. Thankfully, the contents continue fans' interest. The contents creator create lots of good contents with crafty ideas. It's very likely that sports club and media's content is going to be a new part of Korean wave, which is sweeping the world.
I see. And which football players do you think are getting some global attention with this whole international interest on the Korean Peninsula?
So let's see, lots of clubs. Anyway, I think all the clubs are making lots of good contents. They have to good challenge and some good ideas and some new contents are made. So they make really good contents. I think, yeah, not bad, everything.
Right, and well, it seems that there's a lot to look forward to. And if the English Premier League returns, then that would be Son Heung-min returning. I mean, what do you think about that? Are you excited about that?
Of course, yeah, he just finished his short-term military service, but anyway, it was also a big issue around the world. Now he's back to England, and he'll do his effort for making his performance up.
See, well, very exciting time for K-Sports, and hopefully we'll see this momentum going and K-Sports improving and lots of people paying more attention to that as well. It's been a wonderful discussion today. Thank you so much for joining the programme. Dan KURTZ, founder of mykbo.net, and Kim Tae-ryung, director of Fit Together.
Thank you for having me.